Hi, it's Tessa Lopresto here again, and I am wrapping up my series on happiness. I was going to talk about one more book tonight, but it turns out that the book was more of a parenting book and less of a manual or a just discussion of happiness in general. So it was about raising happy kids, and it was good. It had some good stuff in it. But so I decided to kind of skip that one and go ahead and just actually share my own thoughts on happiness as a total non-expert. I kind of don't think a week of research and reading and scrolling and thinking makes me an expert on it. And I don't think the fact that I'm generally happy makes me an expert on it. So I'm not an expert, but I did learn a lot and come across some interesting things and developed some thoughts on happiness overall. Okay, so and I'm gonna stop studying it and researching it and just move on to some other things that interest me and just start doing it. I think we all do, and I've always done. So my summary is basically it doesn't matter um, if you're an extrovert or an introvert or just kind of anything external. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It's not money that brings you happiness. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, a child, a grown up. Anybody can be happy. It's completely attainable. That's one thing that I completely believe. Wait, I gotta see this. Oh my gosh. I'm glad. I'm glad that I moved the phone a little closer. So you're gonna excuse me because D is telling me I have something in my tooth. So I will be right back. It would make me very happy to get it out, and it makes me very happy that you told me it was there. Now I have to use it like a mirror. So now you're gonna get a really, really big thumbs up. You're gonna get a big close up. Looks good. Okay. And now I can actually see who's. I'm gonna just do something different. I'm actually gonna look. So, hi Tracy, hi Dee, and thank you, Angela, hi, and hi Sherry. Okay, I hadn't been taking the time to do that, but that was a good little icebreaker for me saying hi. I really appreciate that. And I kind of like that it happened actually because what I was getting to is all those things don't matter. What matters is really not what happens to you. I mean, it's definitely. I cannot sit here and say that a person is not going to be a little bit happy or unhappy based on the things that happen to them because things happen. I mean, life, excuse it, but it can suck sometimes. Bad things can happen. You can be around negative people. Those things happen. It's not about just kind of smiling all the time and just being in a little bubble and not letting things affect you. It's actually thank goodness for all those multitude of feelings and all those experiences because I believe that it's through experiencing things where we learn the things that we need to do to keep making us feel happy. So happiness is more about how you feel and how you respond to the things happening. And I mean, some things, no, you're going to have some things happen and it's going to be a while before you feel happy. And that's okay. It's, I do believe from all the research, and I really never thought about this, that you maybe kind of are born with a certain set point almost, I guess I should say, maybe a range, but I have to kind of disagree with some of what I've read. I do believe that it can be a little flexible. I do believe that it's can change and you can get to be generally a happier person. I really do. And not everyone agrees with that. I think one of the quotes I read was, it's a little bit genetic, and hi Nancy, hi Linda. It's a little bit genetic, and sort of like you can't make yourself taller, you can't make yourself happier. Well, I disagree with that. Hey honey. Sorry, you missed the part with the food in my teeth. That would have been really fun for you. So I do believe that you can get happier, and from everything I read, it's very, very personal. I mean, so personal, because the same things and the same ways of doing it aren't going to make everybody happy. Some people are introverts and extroverts. Everybody's different, and it's not about doing these certain things. It's about doing what you want to do. And before that, it's even about identifying what you want to do without listening to the external forces if you don't want to. So I think that no matter how you go about getting it, and so a lot of what I read is how you can do it. And while it's awesome to have a how-to book for something like that, I totally dig stuff like that. I dig personal development and self-help. It really doesn't matter how you go about it, as long as you go about it, because I also disagree with, the whole, I can't say disagree, but I think it's just one theory of how you can't go after it. I do think you can go after it. You can go about it in a very organized fashion, like Gretchen Rubin did with her month of resolutions, or you can go about it by taking off to another country, and going on a self-exploration. It's really whatever works for you. You can go about it more internally. You can go about it more externally. You can, you might think that reading books about it or, listening to videos is kind of dumb. Maybe that's not how you would go about it. And that's really good. I mean, as long as you go about it the way you want it. It could be all in your head. It could be in talking to people. And it could be structured. It's really how you want to go about doing it. But I do think it's not selfish. And I definitely think that it's a common desire. I could be wrong about that, but I can't imagine finding many people who would say, hey, I don't like happiness, or I don't want to be happy, or I don't want more of it. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up and finish by saying that it's really, I think, about being you. And it's kind of funny. I think it's really that simple. And although sometimes that can be a little more complicated than just being you, there's a lot that goes into that. But I think that if you stay true to who you are and you maybe do the work or don't do the work to know what that is, I think that's how you get happiness. And then I think there's also something about not just being you, but really being that best version of you. So if achievement's part of it, or checking things off a list, as it was for Gretchen Rubin and actually another author, or if working on your gratitude or connecting with other people is the way to get it, if that's really who you are, then that's what you do. I mean, I think it boils down to do more of what makes you feel good, do less of what doesn't make you feel good, and that's happiness. So I'm almost kind of laughing at myself a little bit for doing a series on happiness, but it was interesting to me, and I wanted to learn more, and I think we do tend to share the things that we're wanting to learn. So it doesn't mean I'm an unhappy person. I just wanted more happy, and I wanted to share that. So anyway, I just don't even have a huge list Maybe I will eventually if I get, to be a little bit more expert on it, but I kind of doubt that. Maybe I'm going to leave you with one last bit of advice, and especially for those of you who maybe think like, hey, I'm going to go do some of this advice, so I'm not going to recap. I got the other videos. This was 4th of 3. There's nothing, hopefully, on my teeth in the other ones. Hopefully. So I won't go over all of it as a review, because you can look at the videos, and I even wrote about it a little bit. But I think the one thing I would say is don't let becoming happy be something that becomes overwhelming. I wouldn't go about it and think it's just another thing I got to try to do, because I'm not going to. I actually did take some of the advice, and I have been, from the first video, I have been journaling for 2 minutes a day about a positive experience that had happened in the last 24 hours, because that was one piece of advice, and I liked it. And I've been doing that, and I like that. I want to keep doing it. But it's kind of a fun thing. I'm not dreading it. I think probably the worst way you can try to attain happiness is to try to tackle it as a big project and get yourself overwhelmed. I mean, that's really kind of silly. So if there was anything you learned that sounds like it's something that you would enjoy doing, then go for it. And I really would love if you let me know. I thank any of you who are watching now, Michelle, and hey, how are you? Linda. So anyway, thank you for listening, and just drop a comment if you liked it, if you're going to try some of the ideas, and maybe even if there's anything else you want me to talk about, because there are so many things I like to learn about. I love to learn and research, and it's actually been pretty fun to share. So I'm going to say goodnight, and thank you for listening, and I'm going to say hi to all of you in the comments. All right. Thank you. Good night.